Hello, everybody, and welcome to that thing we did over the series of one another. The damn thing was called anyway. Let us return to the look at the creators. First issue will always be the longest one. I will talk about specific issues more deeply if it's more powerful storyline wise, but for now, we're going to skim quite a few issues. Now we start with Fantastic Four number 2, which introduces us to the Scrolls of Outer Space. Yes, it was so. This is This is where they were introduced, and they've been basically the same. And this one was out. It wasn't until last year or so when the scrolls finally fully reformed and redeemed themselves. This is done. This is over 40 years of war. You know what about when that happens? Basically, a quick little thing is the scrolls are pretending to be the Fantastic Four, and chaos, absolute chaos, blah 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 blah. They steal things, cause absolute chaos. Very simple, very cozy evil. And they actually use technology to make sure this works. Very smart, very intelligent plan. So it really does work. So overall, it's a pretty decently impressive one. The fights themselves are very good. It's really impressive and smart ideas. For example, how the heroes were able to escape when they're imprisoned by the army. Very smartly well planned, and actually pretty dang impressive. With Johnny himself actually created pretty intelligent plans. I'll give Johnny, even though Johnny, for some reason, some of the artwork looks like he's in his 50s, and Weed looks 70 at times. He has a pretty smart idea. He attacks a rocket base and he knows that because if he does that, the Skrulls will believe that he's one of them. And he also has a flare gun which allows him to attack. Pretty damn smartly timed. Very confident except an extreme use racist line. Now I know how the old Indian fads felt when the cavalry arrived. Yeah, it's doing that one. The fight, it's it's pretty simple, but very well tamed. They actually pretend to be the Skrulls in order to trick their evil duplicates. And he was brilliant ideas in which you can demonstrate how weird the continuity is. He takes two pictures. He shows the Skrull leader pictures from strange tales and journey into mystery comics that were going out at the time. Even in reality, these things were never going to occur. The Skrull leader that just gives him a medal since he keeps thinking he's the Skrulls, and they leave. Or the actual Skrulls themselves. Well, also Ben Gwyn transforms back into Johnny Storm. Yes, the Thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Still look very putty. Anyway, at the very end, there's a pretty impressive fight. There's actually a pretty impressive fight against against some robot creature being inside. It's the Skrulls transforming into each other. Very well timed and pretty impressive. And a pretty smart idea. They hypnotize the Skrulls into becoming cows. Yes, it's weird. I know. It's a pretty decent issue, not the greatest in existence, but pretty fun as well. But now we have a bit of a fun one here. It's a pretty simple, very quick issue, not detailed, not long overall. Because apparently now the Fantastic Four is the greatest comic magazine in the world. Maybe then, but not so much nowadays. This is a bit of a quick one, not the longest or. It does have one of the stupidest. It does introduce certain things that are updated, but still a villain who I think we've seen like 2 times again. Miracle Man, who apparently can cause miracles and actually really can't. The most pathetic thing in existence. I seriously mean absolutely pathetic being called the Fantastica or the Fantastic Wasp Tub, as it has actually been called by fans. It's still very brilliant to watch how silly it is. It also demonstrates the secret hideouts, grand quarters. It's pretty decently. I do admire some of the creativity. It's very simple, but it works quite well. And then we also get the costumes, which of course, oh good lord, that face. That face by Sue. I'm happy about doing that, so he ends up causing absolute chaos by making the monster turn to life. And then Miracle Man apparently decides to declare war on humanity. And, oh good lord, this looks even more stupid. So, the Cyrus physics awful at times. Also, it's very interesting when you look at the original design for costume for the thing. Since he was in the complete suit with a helmet, which he actually has used a few times. When we get to, I think it's not McFarlane's one. I don't. I think it is his one. He ends up using it again for a certain reason. So the thing ends up attempting to fight him, and then things don't go that well. Super does a pretty smart idea by pretending to be him. Right, not pretending to be him, weird. By going invisible and sneaking away. And now the thing now has a strategy is putting it not going still. And also on the thing that there will be a joke about this. The amount of times the characters tend to quit the team is about 5 per minute. Which includes the thing despising him, despising Weed. He never gets angry at Sue. He and Johnny bicker immensely, and he has a lot of problems mainly with Weed because of his past. Unfortunately for Sue with her invisibility powers, sees pathetic as a term of a spy. Until nowadays when she is. The final battle is pretty basic of a weird key for some reason. Which becomes a machine gun. It's pretty impressive. Okay. And then we have one of the possibly stupidest things I've ever seen in comics. There are no words to sum up how stupid this thing looks. I didn't really ever use that again in the comics. What he actually was that, as it turns out, the Miracle Man was actually a very skilled hypnotist. And at the very end, unfortunately, Johnny decides to quit. Characters quitting. List. Johnny Storm. 1. And now we get to a pretty bigger one which I was playing a tiny bit more. Yep. That's it. This is the Into the Comic Out in Universe. Power books. The neat thing is the timeline of Marvel is actually somewhat better understood. Namor was a member of the Invaders in the 1940s. He's the reason why everyone hates mutants. I'm not lying to make confusing. And after the war stopped and the Invaders' invasion began, they completely went under and nobody knew what happened. At this timeline, Captain America hasn't been discovered in the ice, and I think the rest of the invaders are retired or dead, depending on how things go. And this is the first appearance, complete new appearance, of Namor and his I have a triangle head. And hello, I'm very wimpy, Mrs. What was going on with her arm? I don't even know what's going on with that one. And at the very beginning, Reed is quite grumpy, whilst Grim is quite angry and uncaring. Stu actually does get very angry. Completely bananas in the fight themselves. And most of this is something that was happening recently. And then with the wasp tub, it's stupid looking. Super decides to go invisible to try and find out what's going on. He decides to drink for some reason. He decides to try and talk to him, Johnny, what was going on. Whilst at the time, Johnny is actually just doing mechanical work. He's been pretty impressed with very smart ideas. And then Thing decides to again fight him. There's a pretty okay and pretty fun fight, which then causes Ben to come back to human form again. Johnny flies away and transforms again. And then when the weird, I'm sorry, everything, I have respect for certain artwork, but sometimes, half the time the characters keep changing ages from. Everyone's in general here. Sue looks the youngest, but Johnny's the youngest. Johnny looks the second oldest. That's not really how it's supposed to work. Anyway, whilst he's reading a old submarine comic of Submariner, sorry, he talks about an old man who apparently is a bit of a bum than anything else. Is apparently extremely strong. Johnny ends up just me protecting him, and all he does is give him a little save to intend to reveal it's a submarine whose brain was completely undone. Anyway, the fights themselves are pretty decent. Then Johnny discovers where enough he is, and in spite of stupidity, even though it says in the comic that he shouldn't go near water, first thing he does is dump the submarine into the sea, which makes his mind remember. For some reason, why did he decide to go to think about what is the hope? When the submarine goes back to his domain, in Atlantis, but destroyed. It's all destroyed. That glow in the water is radioactivity. Oh, I know what's happened. Humans did it unthinkingly. They were cursed atomic blasts. My people could not be harmed by radiation. But when their homes were destroyed, they must have gone elsewhere. The oceans are vast and endless. How shall I ever find them? Okay, but now with a very, very, very angry Namor. Angry Namor 1. He intends to apparently assign a death warrant to a human race. Johnny has fired up the flare, which means everyone can go to the dang area. Again with the wasp tub. And then he alerts them about the submariner being back. The scared he was worried. Nothing human can stand for that thing. That's the scary part, mister. He ain't human. I think I've always been confused about this, and sometimes they say he's a mutant, sometimes they don't. All the information I can figure out is that He's half human, half Atlantean, and apparently his mutant thing is because of the genetics. I'm really confused here. Anyway, Nemo goes under the sea and finds Giganto. And then he has a discovery of random trumpeton, which apparently he just had in his swords. Giganto was awakened. I think that most recent time Giganto actually appeared and was actually in a Weird of Vows issue. Gigant, and it then creates a battle. That's the reason. Hold on. It goes to a very weird scene in which we create a camera with smoke screen. And then Johnny decides to be stupid. No, there's something like a Hulk a lot. In the back, and then Giganto crosses as much chaos as it can, and then here's the fun part. An idea that the thing has. A nuclear bomb strapped to his back. I still can't believe it. Oh, Thing, you can't. Relax, sir. I'm no hero. I'll come back alive. Just watch. That's what he does. He goes into the Giganto's stomach and fights off a few monsters and runs out whilst the thing explodes. Meanwhile, the submarine now creates a horn again, and then the invisible woman nicks the horn. And then they first one, well, here was a prize worth catching. And then these two keeps it going. And then there's a property backstory thing. And then we have a decently fight sequence against both the three of them. Which involves him doing a pretty smart stunt. Johnny stuns. He makes a tornado, which means that heat which blacks him out. He gets into the water so he can escape. I'm not beaten yet. They're stronger than I thought, but not strong enough to finish Nemo. I'll be back, do you hear? I'll be back. You realize that they can't actually hear you, right? Anyway, on to issue 5. And the most famous villain of all. With a turn of this dial, I shall destroy the four of you forever. Is it weird to point out the weirdest thing with this first thing? The mask is green and is everything. He looks like he's smiling more than anything else. The Fantastic Four. The children dream that they are not but pawns in the hands of Doctor Doom. But now it is time to let the Fantastic Four feel my might. For of all humans on earth, only I have the power to defeat them. Tony is reading the Thing comic. Hulk comic, idiot. And then they start to get into a fight for some stupid reason. It's like bickering each other. And then you can definitely tell this is brilliant about the villain when he's first when the Doctor Doom's first idea is planned to capture them is to get a gigantic web of nets and pick up the building, which is brilliant. Then we get the backstory about Victor Von Doom. It's better than Von Dan, Von Doom and Sloth. think that was his name in one of the films. It involved an intelligent, he was a very intelligent, very vain and uncaring scientist who had created a plan to try and contact the human world, the visiting world, or something like that. And then he vanished, and last time he heard he was found, last week was heard, he was prowling the wastelands of Tibet. And now listeners, the genius is hovering above us. This could well be, this well could be the prelude to one of the most dangerous adventure of our career. Surprisingly, yes. June prophesies the intimidating. It's such a weird looking little thing. And then the four decide to try and criticize themselves, something like that. And then the invisible woman decides decides to be his hostage to trick. And then Dr. Doom speaks to them again. Now that the invisible girl is my hostage, I shall give you your orders. First, I want you all to board my plane. That's a helicopter. You must swear you will not attack me. If you agree, fire your flag again. And that's what they do. They fire the gun. And there's a helicopter again, not a plane. Now, my reluctant passengers, welcome to the home of Dr. Doom. It's the fortress. Once again, they decide to not attack him because they're smart. And there's a tiger. Oh, tiger. And then and then we get one of the silliest ideas, it's one of the funniest moments in existence. They decide, Doom tells them to travel back in time to get the legendary trust of Blackbeard. I am not lying here. And they do so. They have to cover up the thing because he still can't look human. And then they kidnap and become members of prisoners on the pirate crew. It pretty impressive, really funny fight sequence. The two people look like cavaliers. Stay back. It's his death to find them again. Well, like this one's. No, that's more like it. And then they are being attacked by apparently Blackbeard's ship. Which involves Johnny deciding to act like a flaming demon, as they call it. He makes up steam. So the smoke screen to make sure that nobody can see to attack. One of the most fun parts as well. Grim flat out picks up the mast and uses it as a gigantic smashing skull thing. Who help for Blackbeard scares the seven seas. Yeah, that's what another thing is. And what he does is quite smart. He flat out puts it into chains. And then he decides to go back to Earth. Stay in a time frame. It's weird and silly. And apparently it's been 2 days. This is very weird. And then he brings in the test, being the chains, and apparently there's something with submarine. The Marino. And then we get the battle between him and Dr. Doom. Hey, he's nothing but a robot. Naturally, I am in a hidden room above you. A room which now press a button drain your chamber of all oxygen. Farewell, fantastic. What he does is what we does is quite smart. he presses the he ends up going invisible. So he goes invisible and makes sure to helps to save the team. And then they're able to escape by having we do one of the weirdest stuff. And then one of the most interesting, funny parts, Johnny ends up making the art water glass. And then he smokes Dr. Doom out. Let him use his flame. I hope he burns my fortress to the ground so that none will ever learn my secrets. As for me, the greatest scientific brain of all time, is not without his own emergency escape devices, such as my rocket-powered flying harness. You mean a jetpack? Yes, that too. I have been cheated of the magic gems of Merlin, but I still escape to find a new hidden plan which I can plan my conquest of the earth. And then Johnny nearly crashes down. And at the very end, Finn's decides to try and track them down. And as Finn says, he'll handle things his way. And this is the end of this issue. When we begin next time, we begin with a team up between Doom and Namor. See you guys all later on.